Hey guys, my name is Exeter, and on this channel I prefer doing more scripted things. Most of you know that if you watched most of my videos because of everything I've done so far. About half my videos have been scripted, and half of them have been something else. Now, even that one Witcher episode I made was scripted. So, I enjoy doing that type of stuff. I mean, scripted means a few things to me. One, it means that's pre-planned. Now, I might not have a literal script that I'm reading, but to me, scripted means pre-planned, and it also means literally like I'm reading something. Now, I have a big video coming up. I've spent a lot of time working on it, I really have, and I've come into some issues with it because of a, mistake I made. That's really what happened. So today, because I don't have any Black Ops 3 footage for you guys, since I live in New York, not LA, so I wasn't able to go to E3 because, airfare and things like that, and I'm still doing stuff in my life, but yeah, I didn't go to E3, but you guys could easily check out a whole bunch of gameplay, but that's not really what I think you guys are here for, because I feel like my commentary is a little bit more than just saying, oh yeah, the game's good, it has all these features, da-da-da. No. I think that I can give you guys a reason why you shouldn't pre-order the game. So, we're going to be sitting here, I'm going to be playing some Advanced Warfare. The gameplay might be good, it might be bad. I have no clue because I'm doing this now with you guys. So, let's just hit Mosh Pit. So it's random, completely random. These are the classes I'll be choosing from. I'll probably be using the Insanity, but who knows? And yeah, so I'm going to be talking to you about why you shouldn't pre-order the game. Now, if you go through all the first-person shooters recently that have had betas, it's been terrible. And for those of you who do not know, Black Ops 3's bonus, or pre-order bonus, is a beta access. And what is a beta? Well, a beta was originally intended to be a tool for developers to publish games to the community, partial parts of the game, that would give them insight on issues which they had to fix. So, like, let's say there was netcode issues where people weren't connecting well, then they would fix that and then, introduce the game. So that was kind of the point of having a beta. My sensitivity seems off. That was kind of the point of having a beta, but now we're in this mentality that the beta is just to get people hyped for the game. It's not so much about, fixing it, because we see time and time again now, this is mainly with first-person shooters, but people just don't care about what the community has to say after the beta comes out. I mean, look at Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Titanfall, Destiny, all games which had betas, and all games which ended up becoming flops after some time, which is kind of annoying. I mean, I would have to say so. If I were to play a beta and then, like, say, oh, here's a few issues that I really wished you guys would fix, and then they don't fix them, which I did mention a few times to some friends and just people I talk to, it's annoying because, they say your voice is heard, and they say that they're going to fix these issues in the game, but then they don't. And, what am I talking about? Well, Battlefield is known now for having terrible game launches, and the reason for that is because they don't fix their netcode issues, or they don't fix their, not netcode, I mean netcode is something that they're going to have in their game, like issues with that, it's just because it's so large, the scale is so massive. And what else? Well, they also have just bad launches when, like, the games aren't playable in some cases for some people, just because they don't have the servers worked out, and yet people still play the beta, they still play it, and there's still issues that aren't fixed, which is annoying. It makes no sense. And how did I not kill that guy? Okay, whatever. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense how, like, companies, or not companies, but developers can kind of do that. They could just give us a beta and still not fix the things that they said they would fix, because that's what they're giving this to us for. That's what they say they will. But it's really not. It's more of a marketing ploy nowadays than it is to actually be constructive and fix the game. So, what does that mean? Well, in Titanfall seemed like the game was already finished when its beta came out, because it was pretty much the same exact thing in the beta as it was in the final version. I don't remember or recollect any changes, or a large amount of changes made in that game compared to, the final version. And that's not a good thing, because there were barely any guns added. There were like 3 guns added. Tops. I have to say, there was somewhere where around 3. There were minimal different, like, Titans. I mean, all the Titans were already added in the beta. The thing is, one of them was actually given to you, 2 you had to unlock using a card. But there wasn't a lot. I mean, they gave us 2 maps, but there were more maps than that. There really were, in the game, but not many. So there's a lot of things that they say, like, oh yeah, the beta's just going to be like a partial gameplay, but it's not. Same with Destiny. Destiny is like my last version of this argument, but Destiny, worth $500 million, talk myself up, talk myself talk. That's pretty much what the developers of Destiny did. They talked themselves up to the point where they're like, oh yeah, no, we're amazing. You should buy our game. But the whole thing was just total BS. And I'm not saying that because it's a bad game, even though I don't prefer it. But I say that because they say it's worth so much. Like, it was worth buying for $60, and they spent, like, so much money developing it. Yet here they are, with a game which has minimal levels. It really does has minimal levels. They're all very linear. The campaign wasn't even a campaign. It was, like, a mishmash of different stories to bring you around all the maps that they made, which, once again, are minimal. Then they want you to use gear. So, in the game, to get the gear, you have to grind. And it's not like that good grinding, where there's 200 different missions, and then when you're done with all those missions, then you'll have enough XP, and then it's all about the money. But if you spent your money wisely, or like saved up and things like that, then you would easily be able to buy everything. No, it's not that fun grinding, where you play different stuff every time. It's the boring grinding, when you play the same exact thing 100 times over, just to get something that's going to be taken away, or kind of, I don't know, made bad after a few months, or really 1 month. And that's what I don't like about these games, because they are all talk nowadays. They're not actual, you know, gameplay. There's nothing about these games that is the truth. There's nothing about these games that makes me want to go out and pre-order them anymore. And for Black Ops 3, I feel like it's the same situation. Like, Call of Duty is a dying franchise. Right now it is, at least. I feel like they can reinvigorate themselves if they bring it back to their roots. Because what they're doing right now is they feel like the same thing newspapers feel like right now. Newspapers are down 25 to 50% in single copy sales every year for the last few years now. 25 to 50% in single copy sales. That's massive. I mean, if we're talking about first-person shooters here, that's not even a number that you want to think of if this is first-person shooters. If this was first-person shooters, that would be ridiculous. Like, companies would go from selling 10 million copies to just a few. And that's not what's happening here. That's for sure not what's happening. But we're getting pretty close, because the last Call of Duty, Call of Duty Ghosts, it went down 27% in sales from Black Ops 2. 27%! That's ridiculous. That's massive. And here, what's its name? Advanced Warfare went down 22% from that, which brings it to a total of like 43% down from Black Ops 2 to Advanced Warfare. That is unfathomable. That's so large of a dip. And why is that? Well, there's a scare going on in the first-person shooter community because it is too repetitive. People aren't having fun with the games because they feel like there's nothing to have fun with the games. They're not original. They're not entertaining. There's nothing new that's in Call of Duty nowadays that isn't in any other first-person shooter out there. I mean, if you want a first-person shooter that has jetpacks, that has like high mobility, things like that, you get Titanfall. If you want a first-person shooter that is large, where you can use vehicles and have combat and stuff like that, then you go and you play Battlefield. I mean, really, that's what first-person shooters has come into. That's what most of these game franchises come into, because it's so much easier to make games and so many more people do it. And now it's not entertaining anymore. Like, no one's having fun playing these games anymore because you've pretty much played them in the last version. They're more like updates now than they are actually new games. So these companies, they're trying to innovate. You could see this in Hardline. You could see this in Advanced Warfare. You could even see this in Black Ops 3 now. They're trying to innovate to make the new best-selling game, the new best first-person shooter. But what they're failing to see is that their fans are right. They don't want this. And the reason why they don't want this, it's not because they literally don't want to have a totally new experience. That's not what they want. But what you're doing is you're making the Call of Duties a little bit more modern. You're taking away the basic things. You're making it more complicated in ways that don't actually benefit the game. And what you're doing is you're losing your older audience that really enjoy playing this game. Like, they were the original guys, like the 18-year-olds that played COD 4 when it first came out. Now, like, 30-year-olds that play, you know, Advanced Warfare and things like that. But no, you lost those guys. You lost most of them, at least. Or some of them. And those are the big dip. But yes, there's still more people buying consoles and things like that. And that's because there are younger kids that are getting into gaming as well. And the demographic that's buying the games more and more now are the kids that didn't play the older games because they don't know what it's like. But what this is the beneficial thing for them. If they were to remarket the older games, like keep the series going, keep the franchise going. So like, let's say Modern Warfare 4, for example, even though they're probably not going to do that. But if they were to make a Modern Warfare 4, boots on the ground, or maybe even a World War II type of setting, World War I type of setting, that would sell much better than any future bullshit that they would have now. And the reason for that is, like I said, not because it's a bad game, because I'm not saying any of these games are bad, but they're not popular franchises, not popular styles of gameplay in a first-person shooter franchise, which is already super fast-paced. Now, if they were to put these exos in without any boost jumping or anything like that and put them in Battlefield, they would probably sell a lot more than they would with boost jumping and stuff in Call of Duty, which is already fast-paced. Now, the game is almost over here, so that's kind of like my liner, my paragraph, my freaking essay on this topic that I just came up with. I hope it was beneficial for you to understand. I mean, look at that. I am 24 and 13. Really? I got Paladin, man. Yeah, but they just have to bring back what was magical about the old things. Take a survey, make a few surveys, say that you're non-for-profit and you just want people to have fun with the game again and you want to ask, like, the community what they want. Say some bullshit to make people think that you aren't who you actually are, and then see what they want, and then put that in. If they want a old game, there was literally a petition to get MW2 remade. If they want that, then that's fine, then make it for them. I mean, here's the thing. If you remake some of the older games, the younger kids who play COD now, they'll like it. If you remake the older games, the older people who used to play COD, they'll like it. If you remake the older games, the people who might have played some of them but not all of them will like it. You can actually extend your audience by going back in time, because they don't want to go back in time. They feel like, okay, we did all of the, like, you know, World at War, yeah. They did all of the World War II, you know, World War I stuff. We don't want to do that anymore. So want to know what they did? They moved to current times in Iraq, and they also went to Vietnam in Black Ops 1. So you kind of see, Vietnam Cold War, but you can kind of see how there's this transition. They're like, oh yeah, the market's oversaturated, let's move to something else. And people thought that moving to modern era would ruin Call of Duty. They really did. Like, there was discussions, people were thinking, oh yeah, Call of Duty's going to die if they move out of the World War era. But no, they didn't. They did it successfully. They went to the modern era and they thrived. They put in an online situation. They made a lot of money. But now, they never really had a World War II online version. Yes, there's a whole bunch of games. The market's super saturated, but there's no AAA title that's doing that. All the AAA titles are thinking future. It's just like in gaming how everything is stuck in a time frame. All the games you see nowadays are between the, I'm going to say, medieval era. So I'm going to say about 1000 AD. That's like most games. This is most games. Most games are stuck within 1000 AD and 2300 AD. That's the time frame, about a millennia. And the reason for that is because they don't feel there's anything new. Like, all the older games, there's some type of sorcery, there's some type of dragon slaying, there's some type of Witcher stuff. Like, look at Witcher, look at Elder Scrolls, look at Dark Souls. They're all kind of stuck in that time area, or time zone. And then we have a whole bunch of future games that came out. Halo, we have freaking, there's so many. I don't even want to name all of them. But if we have this franchise, which kind of made itself popular because of how gritty and how real it was. Yes, there's some things that are very unrealistic about, but it is real. It's a real thing. These things happen in war. What you see happens. And yes, they would be breaking some laws, like, of, you know, fair war. But if they go back to World War II, World War I, they didn't have those rules back then. They can make it even grittier. And if they bring some of the weapons back, it's not like there weren't enough weapons back then. There were. And you can maybe add some more. It doesn't have to be completely realistic, but if you get the time period right, you get the situations right, and you put in an online setting, which is just like this game, but without the crazy movement, and it'll be great. I know what I miss the most about the older games is being able to play in places I recognize, and being able to fight in situations I can relate with. I mean, my favorite Call of Duty was probably MW3, and the reason for that is, one, it was my first COD that I played, so I'm always going to have that connection to it. I did go back and play MW2, COD 4, things like that, but I really loved it because I'm from New York. So when I played the campaign for that game, I really got connected to the story because that's where the main combat was. And when people see combat in their back door, like, also, like, when you see a campaign taking place in LA, for example, this is so futuristic, you don't even believe, like, honestly, whatever year this is, if any year past 2000 and I'm going to say 40, The Golden Gate Bridge isn't going to be standing anymore. That I could say quite honestly. But if we keep this type of mentality of future is best, then there aren't going to be any more good first-person shooters. Because they're just going to keep doing updates instead of doing something original, because they think future is original when the past is more original. Because think of all the crazy things that have happened in the past that we can't even think of. But here, when you look towards the future, you only look towards the things that you can comprehend, you understand, you know that are coming, and then you build your mentality off of that. So pretty much everyone for future reference is working off the same mentality. That one, we are going to enhance ourselves with technology, whether that be within ourselves physically, or it's going to be some type of exterior object like glasses or a helmet or equipment like an exosuit that we're going to be able to put on ourselves, and more. I mean, there's those types of things, but that's so narrow. That's not open-minded whatsoever. There's definitely going to be more innovation and freaking fighting and things like that in war. In warfare, there's going to be a lot more innovation. So the fact that people keep their mindset so narrow is kind of ridiculous to me. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this commentary. My name is Exeter. This kind of seems like it's bad, like it didn't make sense. Maybe it didn't, but I tried to explain as well as I could. Usually I have a script so I can go over, blah, blah, blah. I'm not blaming you on that. I'm just saying that I actually like this. I like doing this live commentary thing. I hope the gameplay was acceptable. I did get a paladin, so I only got 2 kills because all of them were using blind eye, but whatever. So thank you for watching. My name is Exeter. Peace out and goodbye.